Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to another round of the Realistic Performance League's Le Mans Ultimate Season 1 Championship. We have changed disciplines this time round, all over from the hypercars right down over to the LMGT3s, and quite spectacular that we're going to see through here as they will continue on forth for what is going to be a return back actually over to Spa-Francorchamps. He did improve coming here for last time around, and it was Phil Bailey that was dominant here with Jay DePuget and Joshua Makahi completed through to the podium back then. And then after which we had the Circuit de la Sarf, which Jay DePuget managed to successfully win just ahead of Phil Bailey, with Cameron Fields recording through his first podium of the season in third by that point. We did have a round over at Silverstone, but due to some technical issues involving with the balance of performance, it's been now moved, and that has now been null and void. So we have now gone to the LMGT3s, and there's going to be a lot of people, as you can see, that have changed manufacturers. Georgia Williams, the driver we're right on board with now, donning through the teal Mercedes AMG, is on the well, has effectively changed it's his third manufacturer change so far this season. He's started in Peugeot, gone to Ferrari, and now he's back into the Mercedes now. Well, not back into the Mercedes. It's the first time that he's been in the Mercedes, at least in the endurance side of things. Cameron Fields follows on down behind, is Dunny through the Porsche 911. Let's push it over through to final saves of corners. They're going to start through their flying laps now. Willwood Mancy also donning through a Peugeot as well. All of the boys seem to be very similar in terms of Germany. And then you've got also another one donning a German manufacturer, the BMW, with the Sydney Motorsports Park advertising of Josh Hughes. Usually seem to be really strong in the early contentions, but time will tell to see if it will get any more better for himself. Following down from behind, Joshua Kai is donning for a very stable Lexus, has been shown in cases to be able to prove himself on a magnitude of occasions. Did record for his first podium in the later half of the first half of the season, so he's hoping to continue that form in very good shape. Phil Bailey, who's been a race winner now in a magnitude more than one times, is probably the one that they're going to look for to effectively excel themselves as high up as they possibly can. So Joshua and Phil, we'll see what they'll both can do. Another one in a Lexus and another one in a similar green one, actually the similar livery. Joe McLaughlin follows on through behind with the 37. Maxwell Cohen still through the pits, but Matoki Young manages to still iron for effectively through, I think it was their first win. Hasn't really come quite close to Matoki, I believe, if I remember through correctly. I think no, I was confusing it with Axelrod. I think Matoki did make their actual debut in the last few times, I believe. Yeah, they didn't. No, they didn't actually start back then, so could actually be their debut, if my memory is correct. But if that will be the case, then very, very welcome to Matoki then. Just about a couple through minutes left to go here through qualifying. The stream does indeed say Vegas, but don't be mistaken, we are indeed actually in what do you call it, Spa-Francorchamps for round 6. Well, kickstart for the second half of the season, so indeed quite strong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Toki is not at all there. Cameron Fields, fastest one to set for the lap time. Josh Hughes managed to respond 2-2-2-2 4-6. Kai goes for across the line. Yeah, will get himself up in the fourth. Phil Bailey, what can he do? With just about the 20-minute qualifying session kicking off on the way. Phil can only best manage through third now as it stands, but you can just see through that gap that we're kind of seeing all over across the board now. It's effectively very, very close here. So So we are going to, I will keep an eye on for the chat to see if all of you have got any comments or whatever. If I am pronouncing their names wrong, again, feel free to call me out for it. I'll happily be able to read them. But you can see there on the timing tower over to your left-hand side, once recorded, their times has been Hughes, Fields, Bailey, Alt Williams, Mulcahy, McLaughlin, Woodmansey, and Young is just about approaching over through to the final sector, and Maximum Cookin actually has just exited for the pits, and well, at least George is not going to be the only lone Mercedes out on track, as you will have them to keep him company. Matoki out for the final corner in the Porsche. A good chance to put the Porsche up onto the board, and look at that, very good from them. They've got themselves up into third. Bobby Cooper in the McLaren has not not attending through today, so we're expecting 9 cars here for the next 70 minutes. That will be effectively about, if a car retires for every 10 minutes, so that means we'll only get 2 cars to start the race. As a brief moment there for Mulcahy, I think that was just almost going a bit slow. Actually, Maximum's quite struggling a lot. While we're on board, is actually going quite slow, and that's not really a very good sign if you're a racing driver, to be honest. Yeah, just really trying to really utilize as much as they can. Cameron Fields improves to get himself up on the pole. George second. Mulcahy goes across the line to get himself up to third. So Josh Hughes, bit of a struggle, and Matoki is running on board with her. Yeah, she's struggling quite a bit here as it stands. Will Woodmansey still 7th, and Joe McLaughlin 8th, and as he goes across the line, he'll get himself up in the 7th. Right on board with Cameron now. Down over through to second sector. Over at Spa Francorchamps. Over for the no name. You can just see there's Williams down in the background. I think it does provide a bit of benefit, but a bit of a kick on the grass means that we won't really go through down his way. 12 of Pouon on exit through a near double apex, stringing out down through to turn 13, and they're 90-degree right-hander, and you can just see him already struggling, loses a bit of the car, and will effectively have to yield to George. So what can he do here? So won't have any much worry, but I don't know if he will have enough of a representative lap time on his hand. I think he's on his out lap, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 6:33.6. Meanwhile, Maxim's still looking for representative lap time on the board, but isn't going to quite get it. Will Woodmansey is about 2 seconds off from 7th, but a good chance maybe to get an improvement here if he's so lucky. Green in the second sector, I think he seems to be invalidated through to the final 2 sectors, so unfortunately that is not going to be enough for Will. Over across the line, we'll have a chance to go through again. That'll be Phil. Phil go through the line. 22. Won't be enough. That will be Joshua. He's still swinging on to 5th at the moment. But right now as it stands, Josh Hughes, current provisional pole position, with Theo Bailey over in 2nd, Cameron Fields in 3rd, George Williams in 4th, Joshua Mulcahy completes through to the top 5, and then outside of that, Joe McLaughlin over at 6 with Matoki Young 7th for her, followed by Will Womansey in 8th, and Maximum Cushion in 9th. I think did also have not a hypercar, but it is the sole hypercar that we have here. But I think Jay is not racing through today, so if he does, he'll have to change over through to manufacturers indeed. Couple more for qualifying left to go, but just about. Under 8 minutes left to go. Haven't seen improvement. Matoki has broken herself back up into the top 5. And will be 4th for her. Just about 2/10 off from Cameron. And about 1/10 off separate between her and George. So we see as George is approaching her through to the final sector. Phil is going for the second. Josh is actually approaching through to the final sector. Phil is almost... He's now entering into the final sector now. Accident from there. Up Williams. If it's going to be an improvement enough, it'll be pretty strong. Purple in the first sector. A bit of a middle into the second. It's still an improvement regardless. And has a good chance to push himself up for the board. Is it going to be enough for a top 3 maybe for George? It will be very lucky if he'll be able to do that. This goes across. It's even better. Up in a second. And very, very close to Bailey as Cameron manages to improve. The track is getting so much better that people are saying better lap times. 27 from Cameron, and compared to that, it's about 6 thousandths of a difference between the people in second and over to third. Phil goes across the line. Is it going to be improvement for him? No, it will not. He could still just stays over at 4th, and you can just see the gap between these two. It's absolutely incredible. It is about 63 hundredths of a second separate between 2nd and 4th right now as it stands. Then after that, the Toki is about half a second off as she gets a bit on the grass and won't be able to improve much further. But we'll see if not for Shuki rescue it now, but rescue it now in a later time. It's Joshua Kahi, I think, just exiting out through the... No, he's not exiting out for the pits yet. Will Mancy following through. I think Maximum still struggling a little bit, but Will's also following a little bit compared to his society mate of Joe McLaughlin, who's just exiting out for the pits now to start for their final lap. George is also exiting out for his, and Cameron is into the pits. 6.5 left to go. Again, just anyone's guesses to determine well come on top. This is going to be a bit of a tense battle there. As Phil looking to try and improve even further, but he's got a big portion the way, so he'll definitely struggle a little bit from that. As soon as I said that, he's just we've had a crash, and that will be Win Mancy. I think just under the pressure over that Puon. Luckily, with 6 minutes left to go, he'll have enough time to improve further. Is it going to hinder Phil all that much, though, is the question. I mean, he was about 1/10 faster, but it cost him 3/10 in the second sector. So he's a net 2/10 now from Hughes' best lap time as it stands. All's hopeless, though, for the Welshman. Englishman, sorry. Just a final few corner left to go. Through to the bus stop chicane for Phil. Anywhere left for him to do. A bit of a wiggle, but should be okay. Using lots of the track as he possibly can. You have to be really careful in terms of that track there. And it is an improvement for Phil. Up through to second. Very, very good lap time indeed. I think we're just waiting for a couple more. To set for theirs. That is Joe. A bit wiggle from the Lexus coming over to the third sector. Down Stavelop. Will's in the pits now. Maximum is Maximum. Able to rescue it. It is a personal improvement. Up into the first sector. So he's getting much quicker as the time progresses, which is extremely good to see. Joshua approaching over through to the Camel Straight now. And we're going to see Mintoki set for her first lap. Yellow all across the board, so it's not going to be something that she can cement herself just yet. 8/10 lost altogether, a bit wide out from the curb as well. Again, really careful on for the curb. That sector was actually invalidated, I think, because it was just way too much. With 4 minutes left to go, I think it's gonna be really, really hard if she can go out for another one once again. Ryan with Phil now. He's approaching through to the second sector now. Joshua is following through behind, kind of similar to his Lexus mate as well. Failed George on for the first sector, but Josh is approaching through to the final though. His second sector, I believe, was invalidated, which is why it's not appearing up. But we'll have another chance to go for again. Phil, it's all the way up on the board though. But it's actually purple all around. 500s, fastest, 2/10 quicker, second sector, a chance to go purple all around for himself. Only just a few corners left to go is what's potentially separating himself from pole position. Can he nail it down? Can Phil take another pole position onto the books as he'll go across the line? No, he can't! And it's cost him from the second sector. Look at the gap, 1800s. That was so close. And Phil definitely gave it his all. But I think there has to be just a little bit more now to give. And it gives Josh Hughes a bit of more breathing room, as he knows he's kind of a bit at stake. And look at these two titans going to be fighting it out for pole position here. George Williams further on down behind. Anything he can do. Purple first sector, but it cost him 1.6 seconds. Massive time lost into the second sector, so it won't be much of an improvement, I don't think, for George. And nor it will be. That will be at 2:21. Again, a chance to go for it again. Fell poaching over through to the long hairpin out in the first of Bristles. And then down through 11, down to no name. And then further up ahead, you can see that will be Josh going over through Puan. But they'll still keep hold for the time being. George just over for the Camel Straight. Joshua again falling through behind, just seeing what he can do. Toki is not exiting out for the pit, so she's the best that she can do now is just sixth. Same with Cameron, that's the best they'll both do. So third and sixth for them now. Same with Will Mancy as well, over in eighth. Next to Kushan exit out through to the final corner. And it is an improvement. He's nailed it down just under to 2:24. Out in the forest lies Josh Hughes with a final few corners left to go. It is a big chance for improvement. George Williams into the pit, so he's not going to improve, but Hughes isn't going to push himself away from Phil enough. 1/10 off behind. It's a more of a mountain for Phil to climb. Is he able to do it though? And no, he's not. So he will stay in second for the last 25 seconds left to go. Josh goes across the line and steals Cameron Fields of third place as he'll get himself a Lexus 2-3. Wow. Good lap indeed. Well, we're seeing Jeremy going to be one of the final one to set the representative lap time as the timer starts ticking down. That will be qualifying over and done with here for the 70 minutes coming upon us. All it just waits for now is really him to set a lap time. Over through to the final corner for Joe. Seems to be green all around, but that seems way too wide. Coming out from the final sector. Indeed, that will not be validated whatsoever. And that will mean that qualifying is over and done with. Josh Hughes, another great pole position to add through to his books, as Phil Bailey still going to go out for on track. Actually, he's purpled through the first sector, so maybe he's not done yet, maybe. Though I thought qualifying was indeed done, though. Could indeed be wrong through that. Bit of a wiggle, actually, coming out through that that sector. A little bit off of the exit, though. It's just going to avoid a little bit, but we'll keep hold of it through together, and that will be. It's about 4/10 off, so he will not be able to improve any more further than second place. I think that will all just cement himself. Maximum manages to improve finally at the end and gets himself off from that last row position. He jumps Woodmansey to get himself up into 8th. Love to see it, especially when he was struggling for so much. That will be Phil crushed into the wall, coming through to the final quarter in his last effort to improve. That will be all the best that he can do, and that will allow for qualifying to be over and done with. And we still look over through to the results. Josh Hughes, a fantastic qualifying result for him to get himself up into pole position. A bit of a fight between himself and Phil means that he prevails over in the end. Joshua McCahey just managed to fill off the best of the rest following that battle into 3rd place as he manages to fend off from Fields, out Williams, Young. With Cameron down behind for him 4th, can't do much through to improve, so we'll see if he can be able to deliver much more for that on track. George Out Williams in 5th, Matuki Young in 6th, Joe McLaughlin 7th, Maximo Cushion in 8th, and Will Woodmansey completes over through to the 9-car ordering for today's race. And we have a look over for the start of the race. Up into row 1, it's Josh Hughes with Phil Bailey, so it's German and Alexis sharing over through to the row 1. Following through behind, we have Joshua McCahey with Cameron Fields, following from behind Alexis 2-3 with Porsche and BMW for 1 and 4th. George Up Williams slowing down from behind in 5th. We'll have Matuki Young to keep for company, as she'll be over in 6th to complete for row 3. Down for over through to row 4, it will be Joe McLaughlin down in 7th with Maximum Cushion to escape out from the last row. With Will Woodmansey following through with I think that'll just be it for really today. So Bobby Cooper can't make it today, and oh my goodness me, that is a hypercar of Day Puget. What an absolute I'm only kidding. No hypercars today. Expected 10 car grid today, as I think. I see, that's why. Yeah, overlay just a bit oof a bit. Do feel free to make a comment to you viewers to see who will win. I will effectively read them for them all, and big thanks all to everyone in the Realistic Performance League Formula 1 viewers for watching. Apologies for the unfortunate video titling, but it could be worse. It's quite a big ask to see what could be happening in these 70 minutes. Spa-Francorchamps usually notorious for being really challenging, but also providing some exciting racing, and that will be a thing that a lot of these drivers are looking to do. Josh Hughes, a chance to make a race win. He was the one that really set the ground running back in the race 1, as he was the first ever driver to win in the hypercar class. He has a chance to be the first driver to win in the Realistic Performance League in both the hypercars and in the GT3s. Phil was hoping to look to take that accolade away from him, as he's hoping to continue from his very good momentum in the second half of the hypercars. Also, you got people down from behind. Mulcahy, Fields, and Alt Williams trying to eye through. Well, Fields already got for his first win, first podium, but they're all going to look to eye for their first win as well. So it's going to make things a bit more difficult for Hughes and Bailey, as if they're going to fight each other, these guys will be able to make the most out of it, as they're going to go exit out through to the final corner now. It's anyone's guess as to see who's going to come out on top here for Spa-Francorchamps, as Josh Hughes is going to lead the field as they wait the green flag to drop. The green flag is dropped and we're on the way here at Spa-Francorchamps. A pretty good start from Hughes, but Bailey will have the outside line. Heading over down for turn one. They're going to follow for Bulligas. Later on the brakes, Phil Bailey goes and tries to swing around for the outside, but Josh Hughes will have a better traction onto the inside line and will have a better acceleration too, but Bailey will at least have a bit of a top speed, and the slip shift following down from behind, coming over to Rouge. Further down behind, Cameron Field still manages to fend off from Joshua Mackay. He actually jumped him in the start to get himself through up into third, with Jordan Williams following over from behind, with Joe McClellan actually improving and overtaking Young for sixth. Meanwhile, up through ahead, still running on board with Phil Bailey, now heading over down through to the next series of corners. Notoriously known for being good overtaking opportunity. Phil almost has the looks of it, but it's not going to become to any in Phil. And look at this, actually Cameron might be able to benefit as he goes a bit side by side, but Phil will fend them off though. And a pretty good start we're seeing all around, as it's now slowly becoming to form a 5-car train, with Alt Williams and McLaughlin sort of separated amongst one another. Will Mancy has dropped off a lot actually, so we will have a look for the replay to see what has effectively happened as they all exit out over there. Tokyo also has looked for the inside onto Joe to try and get that place back, but won't quite work. A bit wide on exit, but nothing she can do now for the time being. Over through to the near 90-degree left-handers through 13 and 14 at campus, and look at this, everyone's onto the gravel just a little bit, and everyone seems to be heavily costed by that mistake. Again, just need to be really careful. The gravel can cause a bit of damage to the underbody if you just use way too much of it. This is the realistic performance league we were talking about, so there's that through to keep in mind. And Hughes will still keep on through, but still further down behind you can see Joe McGowan keeping still worried about having a Toki down for behind. And here we go, down over to complete what was effectively lap 1 out of many through the chicane. 19 and 20, a bit of a wiggle there from Fields, who will cost him. Also have to worry about track limits as well. Not too much and you'll get it for a drive-through penalty, with Kahi still over in 4th. Out Williams through to 5th. Glotton still well to fair enough from Mataki in 6th. As you look up ahead, it's just clawing up now to only about a gap or so. You can see there for the time skids though. 1 minute and 07. 1 hour and 7. Through to go. So yep. And a bit of a wiggle. Down through to the Cobb, 7, 8, 9. Oh, near. We've got a retirement already. Will Mancy has already DNF'd. A bit of a struggle there for himself. I think the replays should be nicer. Wow, it is. He already dropped way far back already. Oh, this is coming through a Rouge. Oh dear, loses the grip, and massive bump. Actually, that was huge. That was such a huge bump actually. Never really expected something like that. Simple loss of the grip. And really no chance of saving it. I'm curious though how he lost through the start, because he was very far back actually. Because he was about 17 seconds or so back. Ooh, Oh, goodness me. That seemed to be... That was a bit... What? I mean... That looks weird. That honestly looks pretty weird. We did miss it, so that was indeed what had happened between those two. And this was the overtake that we missed as well. Turkey. Ooh, goodness me. Was that? And a bit onto the gravel though. That will be fine. Kick of the grass up the head. Still no moves yet to have been made yet for the minute. Carrenfield exits out through to Stavlot over through to 16, and it'll be three battle here with Fields, Mackay, and Al Williams to fight through. Fields again jumped an overtake against Joshua. Coming over down through to the final corner. He looks for it, but to no avail for the final corner. With a bit of a wiggle actually from Fields. Again, you need to be very careful. Just you can't really extreme the track limits that much. Turkey, I think, is gaining a little bit. 3.7 is the gap. So I think is slowing it down just a little bit. I think Joshua and George far behind. They think they can go faster. So I do applaud for that. Down over to time now. I think we're seeing a bit of a battle kind of develop just a little bit. But Kai is kind of losing a little bit, and Alt Williams may have a chance for to bite on it. The thing is, though, for Alt Williams is that you need to kind of make it close. There's always that through to keep in mind whenever you're battling with someone like Joshua. It's not always going to make it through very easy on you. So the question is, how do you pull off? I think that will always be, extremely interesting. I think always in the cases in terms of endurance racing, but this one is, no exception whatsoever. It's always going to be good to hear. Anyways, we'll see if Phil's not quite gaining that much through to Josh, though. But Joshua is applying the pressure to Cameron as much as he possibly can. Is Cameron going to lose it a little bit again? Ooh, he holds it. Joshua didn't. I think just outside the curb is a track limit violation, I believe. That's already caught a lot of people out during qualifying. So that will mean that it's not going to entirely be very, very good. Let's see up there ahead, approaching to Air Rouge through Rayon. Phil Bailey and Hughes both hugging the curb on exit. thing is that the slipstream is just not really as effective as usually in the hypercars or the F1 cars that we host here in the league. So I think it'll just require all the more skill than having to be completely dependent on the camel straight to make an overtake. Require you have to like using your car really to the fullest, as Hughes is really starting to feel through that pressure and kind of getting into it. As Cameron Fields under pressure from Joshua, but Joshua is also under pressure from George. Still lap 4, so we have a couple more laps left to go. I think. Are we lap 4? We're lap 5. We're lap 5, yeah. So we gotta look over to the inside. He's not quite. But I don't think anyone will for now. I think it's just going to be a long game of chess, but also a case of pit strategies as well. Of course, the 70 minutes in a track as long as Spa-Francorchamps means that less laps, obviously. But it's also going to provide a bit more wear and tear as well. So I think we will see a couple of pit stops at hand. I can definitely see that for happening. Phil Hughes just about pulling away now. So Joshua, between Joshua and Cameron is now the closest battle that we have on track now. Through the final quarter. Again, everyone's just a bit far too loose on exit. It's really hard to tie that down. In fact, I think Cameron had the better exit than Joshua did. And George did as well. Better exit too. Through to turn 1 of La Source. From the exit, going right downhill. Right on board with there you go. Oh, a move could be made here. This is in a battle for P4. Oh, he's going to have a little look to it. It's going to be very, very close if he's going to make it. Swings around from the outside and will get it done. And George cements himself in P4. Again, another kick up with the dust. That was another kick up the dust, but just nothing yet quite made. But that to overtake did quite cost them just a bit, because it's was effectively punctured George not just through 4th, but also it's allowed for Fields to have a little bit of breathing room up ahead with 1 second to split. And Joshua down from behind is also not quite done with George out Williams. That's another gravel kick, good measure. Hurried over through to second and final quarter. A bit of a wiggle out there from the Welshman. Puts him under immense trouble from Joshua following down behind. The final corner through the bus up chicane they go, and it'll still cement on 1-2. think we're seeing a battle between Hughes and Bailey develop. Also, Matoki Young and McLaughlin has also been further cemented. Just now coming right back down under again. As you might see, two battles here. One for the lead, one for 6th place. So anyone's real guess is to figure out how it'll be made here. Oh, well, a better exit actually from Phil. Josh just not utilising as much as the racing line as he can. He's really under immense amount of pressure here, and it could come completely undone here. Phil just needs to make a move and make it stick. Actually, a much better exit, approaching over through to 15, following on through to 16 now of Stavlo. And the pressure is really getting to Hughes actually. And the tense battle we're witnessing here for P1. Swings over through, down over 3, and look at that dirty air. That's cost Phil from the racing line. And that has hindered his attack, and that means he could not make a charge over for the bus-stop chicane as much as he wanted to. So the chance now of him just going side by side, probably one of the best overtaking chances of the corner, has gone undone because of the dirty air. That is just mustered way too much from the BMW up ahead. Couldn't do much to counteract it though. Down over through to La Source, and Young has managed to slightly pull away from McLaughlin a bit, but not quite enough. Further through to Rouge, swings over down to Radion. These two will go. Nothing is really going to separate between these two just yet. Maybe the pit stops, but that's still a huge maybe. Over through to Lecom. Swings out through the 9. Got up through the behind. Over the Blue 2010. Swings over through. That almost looked to be one of the cars going wide. Actually, McLaughlin managed to overtake Young in the very end, but Young having a look over through to Brussels herself. Just down over through the 10. At no name, upcoming, but nothing yet quite separating between these two just yet. Thinking with the qualifying differences that we've seen, that Young might be able to pull herself away, but I guess I'm quite managing to do that. But again, a testament to show how good Joe's racecraft is to keep holding on to sectors, comfortably as he's doing. As Maximium is heading into the pits, has no rear wing actually on his car, and that's a bit of a worry. You wonder what might have happened there. Further up ahead, it's still a battle between Hughes and Phil. Ooh, later on the brakes though, Phil will go through to through the bus-stop chicane. Approaching over to La Source though, about 0.3 of a difference. It's just not quite close enough to make the move. Will struggle on through. He's going to hug into the inside line, and Phil will follow on through. Again, just maximizing that entry through to Rouge as much as you possibly can is honestly the smart thing to do. Out on exit, through the Camel Straight, the slipstream in hand. Potential move to be made here. Camerfield's down in the background, quite clear of George actually. 1.6 seconds. Just pulled away when it really mattered most to him. Further out on exit, still right through to Lecom, down through to Brussels and 10, 9. Is it 9? No, it's 10. Out through on 10, coming over through to No Name. Cut, gravel touch there from Hughes, but nothing quite alarming yet. as Kush kind of exit out for the pits. Kushan? Cookin. Or whatever. Through the final corner, look at that. Too much on the gravel. Again from Hughes, he just seems to be doing that, getting a little bit sloppy with all the pressure that Phil is kind of bringing it to him. Don't necessarily blame him, but the question is if Phil will be able to handle it as well as Josh has even done it. Because there really isn't something, there isn't really much of a separation between these two. Of course, being early in the season, no balance of performance applied just yet. Then it's going to be a reverse performance, so whoever will win will have a big header and send it into the next round. There's that for to keep in mind. Through the final corner, they'll go. And Phil just, he's always pressured, but never seems to make it work. And I don't know if either he's trying to make it work or if it won't. Out from the accidental source. Straight downhill now. Through the Kelvin straight we'll go. This is still on board with Phil. .47 minutes left to go. And again, not quite forward to the racing line with the 30-yard hand. Well, just all the more struggle for Phil. Through to the final corner, they'll go. This will be in a battle between George and Joshua. I would just witnessing it's the only other battle that is kind of mustering that isn't quite enough to be an overtake over territory. Out from Ryan, Phil and Josh will go. Still in an intense battle for the lead, but still no moves at all to be seen just yet. It will be the case though here. I'll refer to 13 and 14 of, not 13, 14, 10 for Brussels. Got confused 8 and 9 with 13 and 14, whoops. I think we've only had one pit stop thus far. Actually, we can have a look for the tires, just for a giggle. Everyone onto the mediums. What an absolute surprise. Virtual Energy is not at all recorded in But we do have the positions to gain lost though. Alp Williams and Fields both gained 1, but Cahy loses 2 from the start after just being overtaken by Alp Williams. Glotland and Young traded places as well. Christian still where he is. And Will and Nancy again tired. And then on the pit stops as well, as we all know, Christian just the only one that has made a pit stop thus far because of the damage brought by his car. So, yeah. Further up ahead, Bailey and Hughes still along in their long-awaited war. Hasn't really quite gone into blows. There is a chance that Phil's maybe just not committed to an overtake. Although when you talk about margins don't really come as close as they're seeing on board now. 2:23.31 from Hughes' fastest lap time. But with the slipstream, it has gained a Phil a bit of a gain though, because his fastest is a 2:22.90. So that's almost about a 400th difference between these two in terms of fastest laps. And don't forget, this is what the balance of performance applied this time round, I believe. So again, a chance for either one of them, which could be really impressive. Hughes and Bailey just, giving it absolutely the all here. But it's a waiting game in the end of the day, and I think in Spa-Francorchamps is one of those where you can't really go completely all out and just make all the overtakes and just hopefully make it stick. No, there's almost a science and art onto how to overtake effectively, and Spa-Francorchamps is definitely one of those tracks that holds no exception. The chances that you have are really, really limited, so you have to stick by them and really hope for the best. The way that Hughes just uses the gravel ever so slightly, it does make me worry a little bit. Battle between Williams and Mulcahy though, 4/10 off of the a separate distance. Approaching over through to Blanchimont, through to the final straight before the chicane up ahead. Feel really, really close as he possibly can. Three and a half tenths of a separation between each other. It's always been like that way, to be honest. Wonder if the line Josh Hughes has got is more effective in what he needs to just be just about separated in that sense. I think we're seeing something similar as well between these two. Further down behind. 4/10 off ahead. And how much will it shrink? Let's have a look through to the 1v1. It's about 4/10 off around, and then as soon as they come over into the corners, it kind of reduces nearly down to 3/10. And it's always going to effectively be like that, because it's not going to be real commitment from Phil to find a place to overtake. You could just see pressing a lot more onto the brakes. Hughes is going, takes a wider exit just to ensure he gets some sort of better acceleration, or just carries a bit more distance for that acceleration. His car's really stable, which is another thing for kind of Phil to keep in mind. Even though as much as he is struggling, it still doesn't seem to be struggling from the car's fault. It's just, I think he's really putting his car all where he can at the moment. You can just see the line that's trailing along for the gravel. Happens there so much, is almost effectively becoming its own racing line here, folks. we're seeing something similar back here as George is now trying to find off from Joshua McGahey with about 39 minutes left over to go. Down for Losaurus. Hughes and Bailey will go through once again, but still nothing much to muster between these two. Out Williams and Mulcahy further down behind, 5/10 of a separation of a difference. As we're well approaching for the halfway mark, that will be Mulcahy going way too wide over Losaurus. And that might have really cost him. It's now pushed him off to 8/10 of the gap between himself and George. And that will really cement it. Oh, and a bit of a nudge out. We'll still keep on through. Further out on exit, but still no move yet to be made. I think we are going to eventually see our first pit stops very, very soon, everyone. "37.5 minutes, and that gap between Hughes and Bailey is just pushing all the more away. But the opposite is what's happening here between Williams and Mulcahy, as actually Joshua manages to gain a bit of ground and closes up. Through to the final corner they will go. Out on the exit, and is climbed up just a bit. Two-tenths of a gap. It's now clawing in just a little bit more. But it's still just not quite enough, but it's gonna be, I think everyone is probably going to effectively pit late. I think we have seen it before in Spa that I think the people that did pit later ends up being either gaining positions or end up being race winners in this case. So I think the GT3s are effectively going to be no real exception, with a very long stint followed by a quick short stint with the lighter fuel load straight to the finish. Which is big, a big thing for that. L9 exit. It's 7 tenths now, so it's just pushing off a little bit more. Joshua and George, though, is pushing up to about nearly an entire second. So it might be seen to be the end, but I think George just got sights on it somewhere else. It's a battle with Cameron Fields that he's been eyeing for. That's just about 1.1 seconds off of a gap. He's almost effectively down into the middle ground. But if he catches up through to Cameron at this rate, then we're going to see these three maybe fight for once again. But this fight between Bailey and Hughes is just not quite ending yet. As much as it seems to be sort of pushed back a little bit, I think Phil has kind of, I was going to say dumbed down, but as soon as I just said that, he's moved out of the racing line just a little bit. So that's very interesting. Flash him up, fail, go, and no moves yet. And goodness me, very, very close on through the bus stop chicane. Bus stop chicane? Yeah. Oh, chicane. Chicane. Through out an exit. Avlosaurus swings up through to Rouge, down through to Radion. Taking a wider line. Hughes is doing more so than Phil. The gap between George and Josh, though, it's come over to about 6 seconds, actually suffering quite a lot. A brief yellow flag somewhere. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, phew. Okay, phew. I think that was a bit of a server disconnect. But, it should all be fine. A bit of a gravel trap from, Phil, but we'll still be fine. Surely. Holding on through. But, can't make moves just yet. No. Do we see someone else go through the pits? Mulcahy doesn't have a rear wing. And that might be the problem. that could have been the problem that we were witnessing. I was wondering why he dropped so far back, and I was wondering if it might have been just a server disconnect. But no, he's well truly suffered, and he's gone into a tailspin. Kicks off with a moto. He's gonna keep up there on track. He has to try and just about keep it on alive together. It's going to cost him heavily, with about 30 minutes left to go. For a man that looked really on course to be on the podium at the start of the race, it's ended in tears for Joshua, and kind of really sad to see it. If you're a fan of his, I think I don't know anyone who isn't a fan of him, to be honest. But I could be wrong. Into the pits he will go. And we'll look for a change of front wing. And McLaughlin is making his schedule pit stop this time. He will exit out. And will rejoin effectively for where he started in 6th, as Maxium is a lap down, and Joshua's just trying to get his thing repaired. Can I zoom in? Yes, I can zoom in. Wow, how great technology. Great technology. Do you agree, Marshall? Marshall's looking at his watch and just shaking his head. Fantastic. Love that. Help. But yeah, okay, we'll look at the replays now, because we've got about 4 minutes left to go, so... Oh dear. Is this him already, like... So he's already lost time to... Oh, and a lot. That was a... Oh dear. Oh, that was just the lightest of touches. It actually would have saved if he just accelerated a bit. But a bonk. And yeah, that's couldn't do much there, unfortunately. Maxium though, he lost his front right wing as well in a similar situation. Oh dear. Did we see this already? I'm not sure if we did. Oh, goodness me. Whoa, my goodness me. Okay, yeah, nah. Yeah, we didn't see that. It was, that's the second time we've seen, Rouge claim a... He was already touching the grass by the time he entered the curb. So he must have already lost a little bit from it there. And... What, drive... Yeah. I can understand. Bonk. Yep. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's... Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But I don't think anything else really happened. I think just not having that would definitely put a lot of struggle through into it. And we're right back here again. I think he's now 2 laps down because he suffered traffic penalty for track limit violations. Cameron Fields will exit for the pits now. And him, McLaughlin, and Joshua have all made their scheduled pit stops now, maximum 2. I think we're waiting for... Oh my goodness me, it's going to be as close as Phil and Josh's ever has been so far in this race. Is there anything left for Phil to give before the pit stop window really comes suddenly adrift here for the Lexus driver? Let's find out here. I don't think there is a possibility though, because the GT3s have such longer stints than the hypercars. There is a little possibility that you could do it in one stint and Joshua spins round. Heartbreak for Hughes. Completely on his own. On the exit out of Stavlo. And it's come crashing down for him. Five seconds off the gap between himself and Phil. I think this might be the sign for himself, especially for how flat spot the tires are, to really come in through. And that could well and truly be the moment that defies the race. Phil's also into the pits, so they both make the same scheduled pit stop. So that will mean that they will exit out still 5 seconds off adrift. Although something is going to change. Young enters into the pit, so will Alp Williams. And there goes Phil, the first one to pit. Exits out first. Hughes will fall on through. And we're expecting George to eventually do the same. And then after that, we'll expect to see Young. But here we go. Phil's just exit out through, and the gap is actually even more of an increase now. Gone over to about... No, it has actually decreased just ever so slightly. 4.6 or so. And we consider the fastest lap. Phil has a 22:22, and Josh has had a 22:23. 21 minutes left to go. 20 minutes to go for 5 seconds. That's quite a hard task for Hughes. He'll need to have the absolute drive in his life. Probably something that we the viewers, think is impossible for himself to pull off such a win like this. But 4.2 seconds. You have to do a lot to try and gain it. But he is hitting the ground running. You can't deny that. He's already gone about 4/10 quicker than Phil already on the first sector. He really has to put the hammer down, and he knows it. He has to give it his absolute all, put as much as he possibly can into those tires. But Tucky Young, having the benefit from having pinned it later than everyone else, has found herself in a position up into 4th, which is just ahead of Cameron Fields. That was actually in 3rd. But now Fields is also behind Alp Williams as well. So Alp Williams, the biggest gainer from all this, get himself up in the podium place, and very comfortable on that. 12 seconds, the gap between himself and about Cameron down from behind. So that was effectively, they're both about 2-3 seconds around that time before the pit stops came into play. From sheer good strategy, George has now managed to find a way to climb up 6 seconds. But Carrafield's really going to make it quick here. With a move onto Young. Young defends immediately, hugs onto the inside line, will pressure him onto the outside, and is going to look around for Blanchimont. And a bit wide out off with the track area. He will have the inside line though if he's committed to it much. But Young later for the brakes. Maybe gives for the position back as well for being off track. Holds on through the bus stop chicane. Out on exit. Lap 20 still. We're still only on lap 20. And look at this. Fields swings around looking for the outside move. Almost have a look for the switchback. But Young places her car exactly where it needs to be. He holds onto the inside line. Very smartly move. Yeah, look at this. A bit of a commitment. They're going side by side. Heading over to the Rouge. And Young, I don't think was, not felt was given proper room. Holds onto it. Tense battle in here. But what an incredible fight that we're witnessing here. Very, very impressive that these two, especially on GT3s, to go for a Rouge through the rally on and not make contact is quite an astonishment in itself here at the Robotics Performance League. Over for Bruxelles, down to for turn 10 they'll go. And straight down for 11 on to No Name. Nothing changed off it here. The gap between Phil and Josh is now actually extended up to 10 seconds. Oh dear. Well, look at this camera, look at that info. Two side by side now with Young. You'll have the inside line approaching for the next series of corners. But who's going to come up on top, though? Young manages to hold it just about. And she'll have for the inside line over to this next corner. Not really quite the ideal line, though, that she's been looking for. They both make a bit of contact. But Fields, I think with enough of the speed, may be able to make it work. A bit of a wiggle, but he commits to it. And that will allow him to get himself up to the fourth. Good move. Absolutely. From the Welshman. Fast as of course now, and that will really allow for Cameron to find a way to catch up ahead. Did Hughes lose it somewhere? I'm trying to figure out what happened here. Because it was about 9 seconds off for behind. He was just 4. Ooh dear. Oh my goodness me, that is such an excursion. Out of track. And a time where you really need to be flawless, it's, yeah, that was very, very wide. I didn't expect it to cost that much time though. Actually no, it does, because as soon as you're on the gravel, it just adds so much. It adds so much, it's just the fact that it's happening onto one of the fastest part of the track, I think, is what also hinders it as well. Phil just seems to be gaining ever since then. Just ever so slowly, and that might be the case. Then we could be looking for the first for a kind here. McLaughlin makes a second pit stop, I think. If I can have the number of pit stops. Everyone has made their pit stops, so I thought McLaughlin already did. If that's the case then, well, Makahi will be pretty happy at least. So will, well, Maxium's still about 2 laps down. But still. think with the pit stops applied, with about 15 minutes left to go, I think it's more or less pushed for the competition for a way. Phil Bailey seems to be a really hard man to beat now, post pit stops. And I mean, what a way to really cement the GT3 side of things here at the Realistics Performance League. Half of a race, half of a season left to go. Oh. Oh. Ah, it's a preseason friendly. Ah. Whoops. Oh yeah, we did finish the season. What was that? What have I been on about? Did I not read this? I think I was confused. Ah, whoops. Ah. Well, apologies, viewers. I've been misinforming you all the entire time. This is a preseason. Preseason friendly. It's a preseason one. The season for the previous one has already finished, so start a new season. Yeah, so this is a preseason to determine the cars the drivers would want for next season. We are moving to the GT3s. Yes. A 2 hour. 2 hour LMP2 race. Yeah, no. Yeah, okay. That makes a little more sense now to me. Yeah. Apologies for that. I honestly thought this was round 6. But no, it's oh god. Ah dear. Oh well. I mean, the good thing is I mean, Phil still holds on to a comfortable gap to not even to Joshua, but to just really to car further down behind.
Lauro coming across the start finish straight, nose at the big on.
With a few fell over corners, and Joshua just about loses it almost, but we'll keep on fourth a bit. How much? About under 10 minutes left to go now. As I thought that was that Matoki Young going a bit slow, but no, she's fine. The gap between Bailey and Hughes is now pushed off to about 11 seconds of a gap, with Georgia Williams 9 seconds splits off between himself and Hughes. Fields out Williams 9 seconds off between these two. And then, yeah. Oh, goodness me! Spin in the background! That was Maxium, I believe. Did he save it, at least? Did he save it? Going for a Rouge through the rally. Oh, goodness me, that was a way too much of an unsettlement on the entry into Rallion. But what a save that was. And Lisa's front rear wing was not cut off in toying that time round. Still only one retirement. Wilbur Mancy is still the only retirement. But Maxium and Joshua both had damage heavily implemented to their races. As a result, they're both 8 and 6 respectively. And more of a devastation news through to Josh that really had a good chance to get into a podium fight here. Oh, Joe McLaughlin's retired. As soon as I say that, we have a retirement. About 8 minutes and 28 seconds left to go. And the first Lexus actually to pose a retirement as well. Oh my god. Jesus. Oh, phew. Oh dear, that was also going for a Rouge. All the retirement seems to be happening from a Rouge, apart from... No, Will did retire. Way too much from the curb. It's really hard to... It's really hard. Whenever you aim for the curb, it just goes airborne a bit, and yeah, there's a way to settle for the car, but it's already in a lateral angle around for that point, so don't really be applying too much pressure. But also, because of how the car is already, suffering already. It's already suffering midway through, and then it hops off this one. Yeah, and it's like just about enough to offset on the car, and then bonk, complete bonk. And was Will Lexus or not? No, he was a Porsche. So I was right. Woo. Very funny. 6 minutes left to go. Over through to the final corner, a bit wide, but keeps all through in one piece though. Pretty hectic race that we've been watching here today. But yeah, as it stands, Phil Bailey seems to make out here through the first GT3 race as a race winner. A track that really has high attrition. It Doesn't really disappoint in areas like these. So, 4 minutes left to go. And an exit. Gap closing up. Yet. But we'll still hold on through with 3 minutes and a half left to go. Again, 13 seconds now. The gap just seems to keep extending. And Cameron Fields and Georgia Williams have almost got for a battle in their hands. Cameron has done everything he possibly thrown to get into another podium. But he's running out of time. 3 minutes left to go. 2.2 seconds of a gap. His best time has been at 2:23, while George is at 2:21.1. But he's averaging about for a lap quicker. 64.7 second sector compared to 63.1. That's more than a second. Is that more? No, it's not. What? That's more than a second improvement. And he's not done again, but he's gone 6/10 quicker. It's down to 1.7 seconds actually. We could be seeing a last minute battle for the podium here. I'm not quite sure how George is struggling, especially when I believe Cameron was one of the earlier ones to have pitted. But at least that means that race is not going to get through boring though. 6.6 now. Over through to 1.7. Timing tower, the timing down for behind. It's gaining even more. 1.4. He utilizes as much of the curb that Cameron possibly can, to be honest. So he's really given us all. You absolutely cannot deny that. But the traffic involved in the way could be a bit of hindrance for Cameron. Hughes has dropped to third. I've just realized Hughes has dropped to third. Oh dear. Okay. Oh dear. Oh no. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay, we need to see what happens between Hughes. I was amazed whenever I saw the fact that Hughes was the one that was actually in third instead of George. But what happened? Because he was doing so comfortably well. Is he running out of fuel? He's run out of fuel, I think. That doesn't... I don't know what's happening, to be honest. But that seems to be pretty close. Cameron, with Hughes involved, means that he might not even actually get through third. But switch back over down to the inside. Fields would take third place. Oh, and Fields has spun actually for the final corner. Huh? What? Putting the pressure onto Hughes already, who I thought has lost fuel, and then off track way too hard for the accelerator, and it's effectively robbed Cameron through third place here for today. The checker flag drops though, and that will cement a conclusion here today. 9 cars attended today's race, of which there has been 2 retirements. Will Womansey and Joe McLaughlin. For the first time, the Realistic Performance League in Le Mans Ultimate has hosted through a GT3 race for the first time after a plethora of hypercar races. It was an intense fight between Josh Hughes and Phil Bailey. Bailey, seeing himself start on the front row, was beaten into pole position, but today is his as he rounds up for the final corner. Phil wins here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. And a fantastic 70-minute race win for him, as Josh Hughes manages to just overtake George Williams in the dying stages of the moments to rescue his race as he goes over through to the final corner, overtaking through. Okay. A bit of a bump. Okay. A bit of a bump, actually, to Joshua as they'll all go across the flag. And Hughes gets himself up into P2. Gets himself up into P2. George Williams nearly got P2, but we'll have to rescue for a third in the end. Cameron Fields. Oh my god. But what? Oh god. Young, Mulcahy, and then Maximum Cushion completes our through. Oh, okay, okay. Alright, fair enough. Wow, what a race that was. And Phil Bailey, a well-deserved race win for his books. Played his pit strategy absolutely perfect down to a T. Josh Hughes, very unfortunate for him that he could not rescue for what has been a pretty good race on his end after leading, but a bit of a spin effectively ended his chances to recover from that as he finishes over in second. George Williams in third with Cameron Fields. Couldn't do much to garner a podium here, so fourth on him. George did very good though to get himself up into third for the Mercedes. But Toki Young over in fifth, which is really impressive for her considering where she started. Joshua Mulcahy in sixth, a true podium contender, but unfortunately was not meant to be after incident over at Eau Rouge for himself. Maxime Cushion suffered 2 incidents at Eau Rouge and still managed to finish in 7th, so with a position gain, congratulations very much to him. With Joe McLaughlin and Will Womansey both suffering retirements from Eau Rouge. That has been the race. That has been a pretty fantastic race, I must say. So thank you all very much for watching the race here for the Realistic Performance League at Le Mans Ultimate. We'll be back through with more exciting endurance racing league action. I don't know when the next event is, but it is going to be effectively weekly as we continue on through with this off-season celebrations to kick in line for a season here upcoming for Le Mans Ultimate. But until then, I've been Amir. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.